After the war, there was no celebration. How the Duke of Zhou rebuilt a world on the edge of collapse. After the war, there was no celebration. How the Duke of Zhou rebuilt a world on the edge of collapse. The rebellion of the three guards was over, swords were sheathed, the dead were buried. But only now did the real problem appear. How was this country supposed to survive? 1. What the Duke of Zhou faced was a world without trust. Right after the Civil War, the Zhou dynasty had three deadly problems. The lords had just fought each other and refused to submit. Former Shang people had been crushed and lived in fear. Royal authority existed in name, but was extremely weak. At the center of power, there was only one man, the Duke of Zhou. He understood one thing very clearly. If Zhou relied on the army to hold things together, it would end up just like the Shang. The real master move, not law, but ritual. The first thing the Duke of Zhou did was not to build walls and not to expand the army. Instead, he created ritual. So what was ritual? Not polite manners, but a clear system that told everyone who you are, where you belong, and how far you are allowed to go. How the king worships heaven, how lords appear at court, where nobles and officials each stand. Status was now locked in by rules. But rules alone were not enough. So the Duke of Zhou added the other half. Music. Music, ceremonies, rhythm. They turned obedience from pure pressure into something that felt natural. This became what later generations called the ritual and music system. It was not designed to make people free. It was designed to keep society from falling apart. Next, the Duke of Zhou made a very practical move. He reorganized the feudal states, weakening overly powerful royal relatives, spreading the royal bloodline across key regions, surrounding and dividing the old Shang lands. This was not revenge, it was risk management. From this point on, no single lord could easily repeat a rebellion like the three guards. At last, the realm stabilized, military power in hand, institutions under control, unmatched authority and respect. Everything pointed to one outcome. The Duke of Zhou could have become king, but he didn't. When his nephew came of age, he openly handed back power and returned rule to King Cheng of Zhou. At that moment, the entire realm understood something for the first time. The Zhou system was greater than any single person. Later generations remember King Wu because he won the world by force. But the man who allowed the Zhou dynasty to last 800 years was not the one on the battlefield. It was the one who, after the war, refused the throne, gave up personal power, and replaced violence within institutions, the Duke of Zhou. From that day on, Chinese history truly entered a new stage, not about who was the most ruthless, but about who could keep the world stable for the longest time.